Now, spray gunning each other with as much dirt as they could possibly do, having spewed lovey-dovey stuff to each other for months on end. It was fascinating.
I mean, if even only half of what he's saying is true, Blake Lively is a complete nightmare.
Right in the middle of Hollywood, the dark plot will soon be revealed. Blake Lively is currently charged with being the mastermind behind a fraud the scale of Marvel. Is more than simply a tabloid gossip. It's a bombshell with the potential to cause shockwaves. Piers Morgan steps in Hollywood, forward with indisputable evidence in receipts from hand that could bring this. She helped bring down the secret empire. Ryan Reynolds is a famous husband.
Now, spray gunning each other with as much dirt as they could possibly do, having spewed lovey-dovey stuff to each other for months on end.
Lively W's lies web. Secret meetings inside Marvel's empire. Power plays all in the back room with Blake. Vibrant in the shadowy center of the conspiracy following months of silent gossip. The reality is now at last becoming apparent. Fortunes and careers are on the line. Piers Morgan, the time of truth has here, is going to reveal everything. Brace yourself for an insight that will rock Hollywood to its foundations.
And that Justin Baldoni and the producer tried to harass this woman, this mad hatter who no sane man would go near with a 10-foot barge pole. It is so offensive and so ridiculous.
Blake Lively created a significant. She stood in a mess that no one could ignore. In front of cameras with a smug expression, pretending to be superior to everyone. Otherwise, she believed that if she uttered something that people would just accept as true, she appeared to believe that her fame would save her from any serious repercussions. However, you might be surprised to learn that Piers Morgan and the internet as a whole made the decision. They had had enough of her small games, so they revealed to her all the terrible strategies she attempted to use.
If what he's alleging is true, she sounds like an absolute nightmare.
It didn't work out for her, and it appears that she doesn't know how to repair things from the beginning. Blake pretended to be in charge of a film shoot, where her role was limited to that of an. The actress took over the script, requested authority over the costumes, and attempted to alter things that weren't hers, to make her extremely well-known and Ryan Reynolds, a wealthy husband, into the dispute in the hopes that he would frighten everyone. She had to force herself to do whatever she wanted. Have thought that with his well-known name and bank account that no one would be willing to confront her, but that strategy failed when the actual world completely saw through it.
Tried to take over and hijack the movie, and when she didn't get her way, she brought her much richer, more successful and powerful husband in to lay down the law.
Justin alone started the altercation. She was employed by the film's director. Blake filed a lawsuit alleging that he mistreated her, but the specifics did not add up to what she anticipated people taking her side without posing any queries. However, a number of significant facts emerged that began to make her story appear weak. You believe Blake was merely attempting to distort the facts. She appeared displeased that Justin wouldn't allow her to do anything she wanted on set, but he refused to give it to her complete command of the film.
If all of this is true, he's 100% justified in suing her. I don't know if it is, it's all coming out.
She became upset and chose to level grave charges, but after then, she had no concrete evidence. She launched a public crusade in an attempt to convince everyone that she is a victim, supplied information to major media in the hopes they would present her in a flattering manner, yet the details made her appear much more. It showed out that she was suspicious, selectively selecting texts.
That he's now got a website dedicated to spilling the dirty laundry about his co-star in the film. It's unprecedented.
Emojis were eliminated by her. Background information and key components of phrases to portray Justin as the antagonist. Then she pretended that he was. She was mistreated by a terrible creature. However, Justin retaliated by disclosing the entire texts indicating Blake was actually not being truthful. Some mails revealed her complimenting his efforts on. She never said such words in the film, desired for the public to observe.
I mean, it's shocking. In many ways, I'm quite glad for like new media and all of that, because I can imagine how many people in the past have been victim to the kind of stunt that Blake Lively and her husband have pulled, now apparently in conjunction with Taylor Swift, who has oddly decided to distance herself from the couple.
This was only the beginning of her. Piers Morgan's major downfall, who enjoys. Call out celebs who have seen all of these. He witnessed Blake's use of the media to portray herself as heroic. He saw that the person who had been harmed was attempting to influence everyone's perceptions. Her position would protect her from criticism, so he confronted her live. TV.
Look, I went through the 160-page timeline and evidence document that Justin published on his website in detail, as well as what he presented to the court, because it was fascinating.
He wondered why she was altering her explanation for her presentation of partial truths, and the reason behind her acting as though she could. No, Blake obviously did not enjoy that. She lost her temper and attempted to alter the narrative once again and continued to act as though she was unfortunate victim, but the harm had already. Blake had attempted to utilize her as well. Intimate association with Taylor Swift as a. She pulled Taylor's name into the shield, giving the impression that Taylor was on her side, but according to reports, Taylor desired nothing to do with the turmoil surrounding Blake's lawsuit.
This is an actress that was hired to be in the film, and yet she's asking the director, who's also her lead, for the cuts and the edits, and she's decided to take over the wardrobe, and she gets to choose her wardrobe and they pay for it. That's unprecedented. No one's ever heard of that.
Taylor became aware that Blake was merely exploiting her name to appear significant and win sympathy, so she moved aside. That dealt Blake's public another setback. Imagine that if she were sensible, she would have paused and become silent there, but naturally, Blake took the opposite action rather than. She conducted several interviews while keeping quiet and hired more public relations specialists. She kept talk about her assertions as if she were on a fight for justice.
And then she has the audacity to call her husband and Taylor Swift her dragons.
The issue is that official court records revealed a distinct account of what happened to her. She struggled and changed frequently, describing the reasons she needs so many of secret documents belonging to Justin Baldwin if she first had concrete proof that she won his emails for years, not just the messages regarding the film. Most people assumed that she had nothing and was looking for anything that could give him a negative impression.
I mean, I urge everyone to just read through everything that Justin Baldwin
it is utterly
shocking.
It's compelling.
It appeared to be not a true case of classic desperation. Pursuit of justice. In the meanwhile, Justin Baldoni responded with a counterattack of his own. Sue Blake wasn't the only person he sued. Included the PR company and Ryan Reynolds. It reportedly assisted in pushing all these tales he pursued for a substantial amount of money, millions upon millions of dollars. He declined, demonstrating his seriousness to allow Blake to damage his reputation.
The publicists involved, the actors involved, everybody involved seems to be absolutely horrible.
He generated more proof and assertions that made Blake's story seem to have gotten even weaker. It was obvious that she was lying. Regarding the events on site, she also attempted to include additional actresses such as Isabella Ferrer and Jenny Slate are suggesting that they encountered issues with as well. However, those actresses never supported Justin. One of them even thanked Justin for helping her up, for ensuring her comfort on the set. Blake appeared even more like she did as a result, was fabricating things to hurt the career of Justin.
Well, you say we haven't seen it before, but we kind of have with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard.
Well, that's true, yeah, but that only came out in the end in court, right?
And Johnny did something I think a lot of people took notes to, like
yeah, that's true.
A receipt.
Among the biggest surprise was discovering how Ryan Reynolds acted in an early manner. Ryan was. There were texts between Justin and me that were cordial, displaying Ryan telling Justin what he believed. He was fantastic, then suddenly he switched sides after Blake began claiming Justin is responsible for all these awful. Ryan chose to stand up for her despite. If there were doubts about the evidence, numerous people believed Ryan was attempting to stay on the positive aspects of his wife. Hollywood insiders said in a whisper that Ryan was afraid of what could occur if he didn't comply with her assertions.
He dropped all the evidence, and I think Team Justin, which, same PR rep who repped Johnny, who was behind this, Blake sort of saw that as, oh, you're trying to use an Amber Heard tactic, but she didn't even realize, like, that's not a good defense. That means you're guilty because
he didn't want to be perceived as a spouse who refused to support his wife, yet it made him appear feeble and unauthentic. Piers Morgan had a great time dealing with the circumstance. Went after Ryan's and Blake's calls. Those egotistical people who believe they can regulate the public and the media. Noted the speed at which Blake transitioned from being the love interest of one of the showbiz's most despised individuals. She used to have a charming appearance, but now she appeared to be someone who used dark strategies to assault someone who wouldn't otherwise permit her to run for the duration of the film by herself.
Justin for dropping receipts. And I'm just sitting there like, how is this allowed? Like, Blake Lively dropped a lawsuit with all his texts, cherry-picked those texts, removed emojis and like intent and backstory to these texts.
Literally outright deleted certain sections of the text.
Yeah.
Blake also made an effort to make a message out of this whole situation regarding feminism and women's empowerment. She gave the impression that Justin was a awful man who wished to keep her quiet. However, that is not supported by the data at all. Actually, it appears that Blake is a simp. Merely desired complete control when she not understand. She took out the most grave charges she could imagine, expecting everyone to still trust her. The evidence did not support her identity, claiming that real feminists who battle for justice and truth saw through her.
100% took it all as
It's so
re-edited and
incredible.
announced they're mad. They're mad at Justin for releasing the full context of those texts. It makes
And
no
the worst
sense.
part of all of this,
Some individuals who could have supported her and determined that she was merely utilizing a somber subject to obtain an advantage in a disagreement involving business. They separated from her because they were unwilling to back someone who fabricates tales for their own benefit. Even more absurd is Blake's attempt to advertise a domestic AB film in the most callous manner she could. She said, "When friends get together, they dress nicely. Then, dress up and have a good time." She connected the movie to her alcohol brand.
and she got her husband's PR company that wasn't signed off by Sony to take over the promotion of the film. What did Ryan Reynolds have to do with this film?
He utilized proof that they were interfering with the desire to rework scenes in the script, and in an attempt to manage the manufacturing, this accomplishes not sound like someone's actions, who is merely a victim, it seems. Someone who want to oversee each and every detail, and when she didn't get what she wanted, she threw a fit, which is middle school activities that don't fall under A. Ryan had a professional filming atmosphere, drawn further into the disaster that people discovered. He had attempted to go out in order to change the film to suit his and Blake's desired after Ryan was turned down by Justin, allegedly flipped out, and when the case was made public, Ryan pretended to was consistently in favor of Blake, more of their. When private texts were discovered, it turned into agonizingly clear that he was ensnared in the center, but decided to take any action. Blake hoped some people would notice that Ryan letting a friend down, but he may have felt that there was nothing he could do about it. Favorable for him, particularly now that he is being sued for hundreds of, during this play, millions of dollars. Blake continued to look for any angle that could improve her appearance.
What did Ryan Reynolds have to do with this film that Justin Baldoni's production team bought in the first
Well,
place?
I don't want to.
She boasted about her strength. She was even making calls with her hubby. He was a dragon that would pursue Justin. This demonstrated her self-perception as a queen of some sort who might call forth a legendary being that will burn down anyone dared to obstruct her, but her strategy backfired. Rather than Justin receiving burned the public's perception of Blake's vileness, as they started to turn against her, discovered that she was prepared to use her spouse and everyone else as a weapon to acquire what she desired, so she continued to tell lies. Court documents showed an increasing amount of she would assert one thing despite the conflicts. Compared to text messages in her complaint, say another, she gave the impression that, on stage, Justin posed a serious threat, but in the background, she gave him. She informed the public about her directing abilities, was terrified, yet what she said revealed people began calling with different stories. Her Blake heard comparing and contrasting. She herded another actress with Amber, who lost a well-known lawsuit after attempting to. It wasn't flattering to alter the truth, but it was a comparison that lingered. Blake insisted that she was the real deal. Victim, but you can't be the one who suffers because you keep falling for falsehoods. You can't claim to be protecting yourself. When you employ cunning strategies such as editing, messages, and taking out the sections that demonstrate your genuine liking for the other, someone's labor.
When I hear all that kind of stuff, though, honestly, that's all been banned as well now. It's
But
like,
listen,
you can't, it's
a
like,
woman is trying to say she's uncomfortable, and then she's been hit with a retaliation.
You know what
to
she
that.
could have done? She could have pulled out of the film and retained her $400 million fortune that she has with her husband.
Yeah.
She could have done that.
That's not how. Innocent people act in innocent ways. Avoid having to go through 2 years to discover someone else's private life. Dirt that they don't attack with public relations. News websites then become upset over it when the news websites provide further information that damaged their narrative. Blake also attempted to portray herself as an advocate for women, stating that she was taking the initiative to shield kids from Justin's purportedly harmful conduct. However, 2 of the women she drawn into her tale without knowing what. She brought up Jenny Slate and Isabella Ferrer expressed positive sentiments regarding Justin. Blake appeared to have attempted to paint a large image of several actresses experiencing the same issue. However, it was created those actresses were turned down for agree with her assertions that led her to appear more worse over the internet. Began making fun of Blake and calling her out. People questioned her about her dishonesty. Never get away with making such untrue statements for. Many believed she was accustomed to. Everyone complimented her on her sense of style, appearance, and her connection to Ryan, so perhaps she thought no one would ever interrogate her, but as soon as she left, she was confronted with facts at this point that she was incapable of spinning.
and that's what's sad. It's like they should all be basking in the glory of this film, and instead they just kind of kill each other.
She didn't really have a reason for why she recounted a single incident in her case, and in private messages, there was another story. Enjoy witnessing someone degrade themselves, after which you attempt to fill it in with more falsehoods. Initially, Blake fans. Ryan attempted to defend them, but they asserted that Justin must be assaulting them for no apparent purpose, but then additional proof appeared out of nowhere. The admirers fell silent. They acknowledged that they were duped by Blake's portrayal of herself as a gentle, joyful star broken in light of all these documents and leaks. Many other famous people who were once liked her and didn't want to do anything. They halted this litigation. Social media support for her ceased, discussing her and maintaining their distance to prevent being dragged into the poisonous mist that around her. Meanwhile, Justin Baloney received a lot of support from all across Hollywood, claimed to be a kind, respectful individual, someone who genuinely gave a damn about his projects and provided care for the staff and actors. Okay.
Like, none of this was ever about making a good film. It was about power. It was about power. And now that power is backfiring. They tried to play it out in the public. That didn't work. They don't want Justin playing it out in the public.
Blake attempted to categorize him as a villain of some kind, although nearly. After that, no one agreed with that story. Observing the actual proof, which is her charges, appeared more like a final, abandoned attempt to manage the film. She appeared to be someone who would whatever to maintain authority, even if it meant harming the reputation of an innocent person. When the shocking news came, Justin sued for $100 million for them, which isn't a tiny sum. It was a clear declaration that he would not allow them to escape punishment. Ruining his reputation, he contested their claims individually, providing receipts that demonstrated how Blake distorted people's facts. Were astounded by Blake's audacity, believing that she could scare Justin and revise everything. But I suppose because of her failure, she is currently trapped in a legal quagmire that can destroy her career or at least seriously harm it for a very long time, and the majority of people believe she deserves. Blake attempted to portray herself as numerous spectators pointed out a large champion, discovering that real champions don't tell lies or lead others into making up stories. Real champions don't weep over unfairness while they are making an effort to slant the facts in their favor.
The only way Blake and Ryan could salvage what's left of their reputation, which they don't even realize, I truly don't think they realize how reviled they are. I don't think they realize they're losing.
Blake's. The meltdown was very dramatic and widely reported that it appeared she was unaware of. Regardless of the century, we have the internet where emails and texts can be sent, can be immediately shared, but you can't just. Some people no longer hide behind partial truths. People make jokes about this being more than a litigation. It tells the tale of a woman who believed she was the lead in a revenge movie fantasy as she was revealing the worst aspects of herself overall. Globe to see that she might have thought her supporters would never leave her side, may have believed that her friendship on Taylor Swift's union with she would receive a shield from Ryan Reynolds. But when the facts came to light, that shield broke, emerged as the drama intensified and the giggling and incredulity that no one could think. Blake advertised a film about AB in a really rude manner, she said. Individuals to get dressed and bring their buddies thought the night out was enjoyable. She then employed that in a romantic comedy opportunity to promote her booze business as though combining alcohol with an obtail was most people regarded it to be a clever marketing idea. Repulsive.
If they did something that no litigious celebrity has ever done, which is come out and be like, we made a mistake. Suing someone is a nightmare. It's stressful, it's expensive, it's a life ruiner.
It demonstrated a complete disregard for given the topic seriousness, it was all regarding her brand and nothing regarding reality. Ryan Reynolds did not come out as a victim. He appeared to be a hero either, as if they were stuck with their spouse, who was losing their mind, but rather of advising her to relax or to be sincere. He joined her crusade and made an effort to bend the facts to her advantage. He even included a mention of Justin and attempting to parody the Marvel movie script.